Bonjour everyone, this is Sue Smith, Lac Courte Oreilles Child Support Director. Before Sunny and Ann present the Lac Courte Oreilles Digital Marketing Initiative, there are some very big and well-deserved thank yous needed. I want to thank the Office of Child Support Enforcement for the opportunity to participate in the 1115 Digital Marketing Grants. A big thank you to Sunny Bissonette, LCO's Assistant Director. Her ability to keep this project on task and focused was a huge contribution to the success of our project. Cannot thank Sunny enough. Thank you. Thank you to the LCO Child Support staff for their assistance throughout this project. And another big thank you to Ann Byrne from the Center for Policy Research. Her willingness to go far beyond what was required was a major help to guarantee LCO Child Support to reach their goals. A big thank you to all. And now for Sunny and Ann.
Thank you, Sue, for that introduction. And as Sue had said, just to reiterate, thank you to OCSC for the opportunity to present this webinar on Lac Courte Oreilles Child Support's experience with the Section 1115 grant entitled Using Digital Marketing to Increase Participation in the Child Support Program. My name is Sunny Bissonette, and I'm the Assistant Director here at Lac Courte Oreilles Child Support. And my co-presenter for this webinar will be Ann Byrne from the Center for Policy Research based out of Denver, Colorado. The Center for Policy Research was our project evaluator through the duration of this grant. Our agency and tribe, the Lac Courte Oreilles Band of Lake Superior Chippewa Indians, is located in a very rural part of northwestern Wisconsin. There are no major metropolitan areas anywhere within hours of our location. We're approximately 3 hours northeast of Minneapolis and St. Paul and 2 hours southeast of Duluth, Minnesota. So we are in a very rural part of our state and a very rural part of the Midwest in general. And we did just want to point out our location just to further explain why we chose some of the interventions that we'll be going over later in our presentation. Our overall project goal throughout the duration of the entire Using Digital Marketing to increase participation in the child support program is exactly this: to test the effectiveness of digital marketing at increasing the rates of enrollment and productive parent interactions with child support services. So throughout the course of our presentation on the 3 interventions that we've done, we will go over each one of our digital marketing aspects and give you some information and data on how each of those interventions did in terms of increasing participation or increasing knowledge with of the child support program services. During our planning phase of the grant as a whole, we decided that we needed to really decide what our main project outcome goals were going to be. And so those are what you see listed on your screen. Number 1, helping parents meet their obligations, promoting parental involvement and connecting parents to resources. And how can we meet all 3 of those goals through a digital presence? So going forward through our presentation, we'll show you how we met those goals. In looking at our grant timeline as a whole, this is just a very, very basic timeline of interventions, planning phases, projected rollout dates. So it was very helpful. Not all of our staff within our office was directly involved in our digital marketing project, but we did like to give the entire office a general idea of what interventions we're working on, the rollout phases, and it also was very helpful not only for our office, but also for any project partners that we worked with. So just a general overview. Fortunately, due to COVID, we weren't able to meet some of the timelines listed on your screen, but again, just having a very broad general overlook was very helpful in moving the project forward. So our interventions and why we chose them. Intervention 1, we knew immediately in our planning phase that we needed a new website. At the time when we were in the planning phase, it was 2018. We did have a website, however, it was not a very useful website, and it was all contained right on one web page. So the new website was very important to us. As I stated in the beginning, we are in a very rural area and there are a lot of transportation challenges. So we wanted a website that could eliminate trips to the office for those with transportation challenges. Social media. So our second intervention, we rolled out a new Facebook page and we also implemented Facebook advertising. again, just to increase public awareness of the services that we offered on a digital platform. Our third and final intervention was fuel pump advertising at one of our tribally owned convenience centers. There are 12 fuel pumps there, and the fuel pumps were definitely a unique intervention and a very large undertaking. One of the biggest lessons learned throughout this grant is websites matter. In this day and age, a useful website is pretty much vital. So prior to being awarded this grant, we did have a website. It was lcochaldsupportprogram.com, so a very long URL address. Both our project evaluator and then also one of our advertising project partners was able to determine that our previous website had literally not one page view. So we could tell from that, okay, no one is using the website. Why are they not using the website? Well, there was really no information on there. It was just a lot of text about LCO child support, but really not a lot of interactive features in it, no forms. We weren't able to edit our own content because we had to go through a third party anytime we needed to update anything on our page. The website overall just looked very timely. I would have loved to insert an image of it. However, it's just no longer available. So with our new website, the URL is shortened to lcochaldsuport.com. That launched and went live in April of 2019. So that did happen. This was pre-COVID. So that did roll out as planned for our first intervention in April of 2019. We did integrate a chatbot into the website. There's appointment scheduling, lots of community resources, and then information on payments, which we'll go into on the next slides. Prior to the digital marketing grant, in this box, you can see just a simple Google search, Hayward, Wisconsin child support. Prior to the digital marketing grant, LCO child support would have been on page 3 if someone had Googled Hayward WI child support. So this is a huge step in the right direction for our office and for our community, just to be able to find, oh, Lac Courte Oreilles child support. That's who I was looking for. If you're watching this presentation, you might think Lac Courte Oreilles is probably not the easiest name to spell. So searching Hayward, Wisconsin child support might be more likely that you're going to do that rather than Lac Courte Oreilles or even the acronym LCO. So with our page ranking and SEO searchability, we had to learn a lot about how folks find your web page if they're not specifically Googling or searching for your name. So with that, as I said, we would have been on page 3 prior to the rollout. Right now, we're on the first page. We're the second listing above us. The only listing above us is the Sawyer County Child Support Agency. Lac Courte Oreilles Tribe is located within Sawyer County. The Sawyer County Child Support Agency is the state of Wisconsin's county agency. And obviously they've been around for decades longer than Lac Courte Oreilles child support. So this is a huge step in the right direction as far as page ranking for us, more accessibility to services. The next slides are all screenshots of our new website, lcochaldsuport.com. And I won't go into detail about all of the features that are on the website, but I would just like to point out at the top of the screen, you can see that there's a number of tabs. They're all pretty clear and easy to read. Each one has a drop down and different options of it. You can also see on the right hand corner there in the little green or little yellow circle, there is a chat now button. And so that's our chat bot that we integrated that I talked about a little bit earlier. And with the chat bot that we were able to customize that to answer most commonly asked questions automatically. And a lot of times we found that the chatbot will let people know what their next step is rather than having to call us, having to come into the office. So the chatbot is very simple. We can customize it. We can change it daily, weekly, as much as we need to. So this is just an overview of our website homepage. So if a visitor to our website had clicked on the chatbot, this box would appear, and then from here they can select on one of the most commonly asked topics. For example, if someone had clicked on the chatbot and then they had questions on applying for services, they could then click on applying for services. The chatbot would ask them a few questions. From there, the chatbot would either direct them to an application for services on our webpage, or it could also direct them to schedule an appointment online. That way they could schedule a phone interview or a in-office appointment just to go over their questions on applying for services. The same thing with payment information, for example. If someone had clicked on payment information, the chatbot would ask them a series of questions, and then from there, it would either direct them to our webpage regarding our child support debit card, or to our frequently asked questions page regarding when child support payments are dispersed, collection of arrears, and the like. We knew with our digital marketing initiatives that it was going to be very important to integrate a lot of resources within our website. So we have dedicated a lot of time to increase our digital footprint by having community resources such as employment, training, education, housing, all of the things that you're seeing on your screen. So our website can really be a one-stop shop for information on all of the items that you're seeing on your screen. So that's been very beneficial for our community, our caseload, and then again, increasing awareness of the different services that child support can offer. Again, trying to dispel the outdated myth of child support being such an adversarial agency. So, as stated earlier, a new website does offer forms online, which is a huge step and definitely makes it a lot more convenient, saves a lot of trips for people that have to come into the office. They can simply go to lcochildsupport.com, click on forms, click on which form they want, fill it out, send it to us, and that prevents a trip to the office. So a sub-project of Intervention 1 with our website rollout, we wanted to incorporate or have our individuals on our caseload be able to have access on their own to log in to view their child support case details. So we did work with one of our vendors, and they had designed a tribal child support portal for individuals on our caseload to be able to log in securely 24/7 to view their case details. So this is a link this is a web page within our website for the Tribal Child Support Portal. And I should note that as a tribal child support agency, we use a system called MTS, which stands for the Model Tribal System. So we use MTS for our own internal case management, but unlike state agencies, we did not have any sort of system that allowed individuals on our caseload to electronically access their case details whenever they wanted. So prior to the portal, if an individual had questions on what their arrears balance was, when their upcoming court hearings were, when payments were due, they would have to call, come in the office, email to obtain that information. Now with the portal, again, that was a sub project of Intervention 1 within our website rollout. The individual is able to log in 24/7, then they're able to obtain all the information on their case, and they're also able to securely message their caseworker through the portal as well. And Anne will go into information when she presents data on the number of applicants and new enrollments to the Tribal Child Support Portal. And that would have been data collected throughout Intervention 1, 2, and 3. As we stated a few slides back, we did have to really start from scratch on creating a very easy to find website. So with that, we did learn a lot about page ranking, boosting your search engine optimization. And so as part of that research with our project partners, it was determined that one of the easiest ways and really a useful way to increase your page ranking and searchability was to have blog posts. So Our website currently has roughly 30 different blog posts. All of the blog posts are very keyword heavy. So there's lots of key phrases such as Lac Courte Oreilles child support, tribal child support, establishing paternity, genetic testing, some of the most commonly searched child support terms. So the blog post, when we discussed a few slides back how Lac Courte Oreilles child support is now ranked second if you searched Hayward, Wisconsin child support rather than page 3, a lot of that can be contributed to these very keyword heavy blog posts. Another option on our website allows people to request to schedule an appointment. They just have to fill in these 5 simple fields here. Once they hit submit, then an email is received by our assigned staff member who will then follow up with the individual to confirm their appointment. The website also offers information on our tribal child support debit card. All of the individuals on our caseload are issued a debit card to either receive payments on, and then we also issue refunds for any overpayments back to the payer's debit card. So general information on the debit card. If you need to contact the debit card provider directly to report a lost or stolen card, you can do so by clicking the hyperlink on our webpage. Our most visited page within our website is our employment page. So we have listings for our tribal government employment listings, some of our larger employers within our community, then our county employment listings, state employment listings, federal employment listings, so on and so forth. This is definitely our most visited page within our website. In wrapping up the overview of our website, which I know that I've covered a lot of information, a lot of details on our website, but I did that so just to point out and reiterate how vital the new website rollout was for Lac Courte Oreilles child support as a whole throughout the digital marketing initiative. It's really been a huge stride for us to be able to have this website and be able to direct individuals to our website for any of the questions that they might be asking us. And then again, increasing our digital presence, letting the community know what services we do offer. If they're interested, they have questions on what exactly does Lac Courte Oreilles child support offer, they're able to find all that information online through a digital format.
This is Ann Byrne from the Center for Policy Research. We were the evaluators for the Lac Courte Oreilles Child Support Digital Marketing Project, and I'm here to share some information about the results and learnings that occurred as a result of this project. Starting with the first intervention, which was the website development and search engine optimization. I'm happy to report that the website launched as scheduled on April 1st, 2019. This was the first dedicated website that LCO Child Support had, so it was an exciting transition and important entrance into the digital marketing world. During the intervention period, the website attracted 994 users who engaged in 1,334 sessions, which is great when you consider that it went from nothing to this level of engagement. Blog posts were one of the key strategies to increase search engine optimization and drive viewers to the website, where blog articles on a variety of topics were published both on Facebook and on the website, and many of them drew and prompted visitors to click through the blog posts on Facebook to the website. Another important event, as you've heard, with the launch of the digital marketing intervention was the simultaneous launch of the separately developed self-service online portal for clients to be able to enroll and be able to access their case information online. So the portal became part of the digital marketing intervention with using digital marketing to try and encourage and prompt clients to enroll in the self-service portal. During this first period, this first intervention, 9 child support clients enrolled in the portal. There were many blog posts and much information that was distributed about the portal, so this was kind of a
disappointing result, even though it was anticipated that it was going to be a hard process to enroll clients. The search engine optimization efforts were effective in prompting 1,155 search impressions. And we looked at the page views by topic and found that employment opportunities and general child support information were quite interesting. One of the things that was effective is that there were multiple posts, regular posts about job opportunities that were available and posted on the website, and also directed them to other resources. And this was a particularly effective way of drawing people to the website. Some of the conclusions and key lessons learned was that they were effective in launching the website as a foundation for all future digital marketing efforts. It's attractive, interactive, and easy to use. The efforts to draw people to the website through search engine optimization and the blog posts were effective. The number of times the website link appeared increased throughout every month during the duration of the intervention. We know that Facebook was effective also at directing people to the website, with 60% of the viewers who came to the website during the intervention period being referred by Facebook. So the 1-2 punch of Facebook and the website were critical, important partners to one another. And as I mentioned, it was anticipated that enrollment in the portal would be challenging, and this did prove to be the case during the first intervention.
Our second intervention focused on social media and social media advertising. So we focused on really increasing and improving our use of our LCO Child Support Facebook page, and then also rolled out a number of Facebook ads, which were targeted based upon age, geographic location, and family structure. On this page is just a general idea, just a screenshot of some of the ads that we had run through Facebook. This one in particular says the LCO Child Support Program. Our purpose is to enforce the child's right for support from both parents in order to raise a standard of living for tribal children. Through here, you were able to select Apply Now. That would redirect you to our website, which we talked about during Intervention 1. And this was very interesting to track. Once we get to Anne's presentation on the data, she will go into information specifics on how many times that these were clicked on, these ads were clicked on. So this was just one of many ads that we ran. This one is a still image. We also ran advertisements with videos incorporated in them as well. During our social media advertising, we designed and developed videos that were geared towards engaging fathers, videos designed toward engaging mothers, and then designed toward engaging caregivers as well. This is a screenshot of a video, one that we did geared towards fathers, and we had done a series of videos entitled Dad Jokes, and so they were very short. We ran these on social media, and then we also cross-ran some of the videos on our fuel pumps. So this one in particular goes on to say, what do you call a lady with one short leg and one long leg? The little girl doesn't know. She's beginning to laugh. The answer, if you're wondering, is Eileen. The videos and examples of all of the videos that we ran on social media can be found on the LCO Child Support Facebook page. So you can either find us on Facebook or go to lcochildsupport.com, click on our icon for Facebook, and from there you can find a number of the Facebook videos that we did. But again, when we get to Anne's section, she can go into details about what type of engagement and outcomes we receive with the social media advertising.
The second intervention was advertising on Facebook. The advertisements, as you've heard, included a video that described Lac Courte Oreilles Child Support Services and the values that the agency has, as well as advertisements about enrolling in the portal, and then opportunities to participate in a drawing to win a gift card which directed people when they clicked on the ads to the website and explained that the drawing was for child support clients and they had the opportunity to enroll and be entered into that drawing. Those advertisements generated 1,713 clicks or interactions, and that translated to 511 referrals to the website. There was a 103% increase in website users compared to a similar period, which was a great gain. And during this period, 50 peak clients enrolled in the self-service portal, which was great relative to previous efforts. Most of those clients did come in during the first opportunity to participate in a drawing. So we know that the advertising on Facebook solicited engagement and increased visits to the website and did prompt enrollments in the online self-service portal. We saw the benefit and the opportunity that occurs with a new opportunity to win a gift card. That first advertisement that was placed with the opportunity to participate in a drawing for a gift card attracted the most viewers and then also resulted in the most portal enrollments. A variety of different targeting strategies were used with both the video advertisement describing Lac Courte Oreilles child support services and values and the advertisements to enroll in the portal. And what we found is that while the advertisements with the greatest reach prompted the most engagement in Facebook, which is a good thing, the ones with a much narrower approach that had a smaller reach and were more targeted to those who were likely to interact with the ads actually performed much better. And that this suggests that a more targeted, narrowly focused advertisement is most effective for Lac Courte Oreilles child support. As we mentioned, it was anticipated it was difficult to enroll, and so the prompts that came from those who enrolled after that first advertisement for entering in a drawing was a great boost to the efforts to enroll people in the portal. Unfortunately, additional ads that used a similar technique did not produce the same kind of results. So I think they got the first round, attracted the people who were likely to participate, and then future advertisements were more challenged to do that.
So our third and final intervention was fuel pump advertising. And we did all of our fuel pump advertising at one of our tribally owned gas stations. There are 12 fuel pumps at this particular gas station, and we did a number of video advertisements on all of the pumps. And all of the videos were anywhere from 10 seconds to a minute and a half long. So depending upon how long you were at the fuel pump, that would depend upon which videos and how many videos you would see. We did produce targeted videos by category of mom, dad, grandparents, and caregivers. So each of our target audiences would see and hear information on child support services that may apply to their specific family structure. With the fuel pump advertising, we received a tremendous amount of positive feedback from our community, in that community members felt that they better understood exactly what LCO Child Support does and how services we provide may be able to assist their family. We did receive an increased amount of applications for new child support services based specifically from ads that ran on the fuel pumps. And interestingly enough, the majority of the new applications were from court-ordered guardians who had indicated that prior to seeing the fuel pump advertisements targeted toward caregivers, they were unaware that they were able to apply for child support. So that was definitely a positive outcome with the fuel pump advertising. We also did some promotion via the fuel pumps, and the promotions that we ran were used to increase traffic to our new website along with our revamped Facebook page. So some of the smaller promotions we did directed the viewers to go to lcochildsupport.com, enter in a code that they would have seen specifically at the fuel pump, then they would be eligible for a $10 fuel card. Same thing with our Facebook page. If they liked and shared our Facebook page based upon a directive that was posted specifically on the fuel pumps, they would also receive a $10 gift card. So, and we'll go over more information on data and our fuel pump engagements, but overall, from a community perspective, we did receive a lot of positive feedback from our community about the increased awareness of all of the services that Lac Courte Oreilles Child Support offers, along with feedback just letting us know that the fuel pump ads gave a lot more positive image of our agency within the community. So overall, we're very pleased to find that we did meet the objectives of this intervention by promoting a positive agency impression, increasing applicant interactions, and improving community awareness of child support services using a digital marketing platform.
The third advertisement, or the third intervention, I'm sorry, was gas pump advertising, which is a fairly unique and innovative approach. I think it's particularly interesting and effective within the Lac Courte Oreilles community. The LCO Quick Stop is located close to most of the tribal government, the schools, and people that are interacting with those and traveling through the reservation. We're going to have the opportunity to stop and get gas at the Quick Stop. The advertisements were made up of a variety of videos together played about for 3 minutes, and during the intervention period, which is a fairly long period from April 2020 through January 2021, there were over 77,000 gas pump transactions, and that means that those videos were displayed 77,000 times. This was in a period that included the large shutdown period, so it's possible that it could have been much higher with people buying more gas and going more places, but that's a significant number, 77,000 transactions and 77 views of those advertisements. Unfortunately, the viewers were not motivated to visit the website. This was anticipated because it doesn't link to the website. Unlike having a device in your hand or on your computer that links directly to the website, the advertisements on the gas pumps just could display the website and encourage people to visit. They did encourage people to, they also ran a promotion a couple of months, another drawing for registration in the portal, and those did drive a few people to the website. Unfortunately, they didn't really result in many new clients enrolled in the portal. So during this period, only 13 clients enrolled on the online self-service portal. We also did a survey of some community members and clients and a few interviews with current clients to gather a little bit of feedback about their experiences with LCO child support, if they were enrolled in the portal, if they knew about the portal, if they'd seen the advertisements on the gas pumps and Facebook, what those advertisements did. And what we learned from those respondents is that child support is perceived as a beneficial resource for the families in the tribal community, and that the staff are helpful and easy to work with. Some people indicated that they had seen the ads and that the ads improved their opinions of child support and also provided new information. So that was a helpful thing to learn as well. So things that we learned from the gas pump advertising is that the gas pumps provide a way to have broad reach and frequent impressions for customers, but they do not generate website traffic. If you've ever stood at a gas pump and seen one of the video advertisements, you know that it's a fairly passive way of viewing advertisements. During most of the intervention, the Lac Courte Oreilles Child Support was the only advertiser, so all of the messages that appeared on the video screens were about child support. And so even if people were not actively paying attention to every ad, every time they got gas, they were likely to see the ads in some capacity. So it's a great way to broadly communicate with members of the community. As it currently is set up, is not necessarily very interactive, and so it becomes a very passive kind of format. As we've talked about, it is challenging to prompt clients to enroll in the portal, and this continued during this intervention. At this point, I think that it's really going to be important to do a little further research by talking to clients and gathering their direct feedback about why they're not interested in enrolling in the portal, why the ads that have been run, which have been significant throughout the digital marketing project, have not connected in a way that encouraged them to enroll in the portal. And once that information is gathered, to be able to do a little bit more targeted and effective approach at actually enrolling people. The advertisements during the gas pump advertising campaign that were about portal enrollment suggests that that is much too broad a population to advertise a topic as specific as portal enrollments, which is only for current clients of child support. So future advertisements related to portal enrollment should be directed only to those individuals who are currently clients of child support. And you can do that through email and text and other ways of directly communicating with them. But using the broader distribution of gas pump advertising and even Facebook advertising or other broad methods of getting messages out may not be the best and most useful way to communicate with clients about the portal. One of the things that we know from the survey is that the unique assets that Lac Courte Oreilles Child Support is able to incorporate as a tribal child support program to make its services culturally appropriate and are largely unknown among the community population that responded to the survey. For example, Lac Courte Oreilles Child Support can take non-monetary forms of payment, and that is an appropriate way to make a child support payment. Many people are not familiar with that option, and that this is an opportunity, I think, for the future for Lac Courte Oreilles Child Support to really promote itself and the services that it's providing as a culturally relevant and sensitive to the needs of its community, and something that could be positive in the future. So looking forward, it's great to know that Lac Courte Oreilles Child Support now has a lively digital presence through its website, Facebook post, and gas pump advertising, and it's well positioned to continue to use these platforms to communicate with clients moving forward. It's important to not presume that the viewers and the consumers of digital marketing messaging are familiar with the nature of what child support does, even within a small community like the Lac Courte Oreilles tribal population. We know from other research that most people don't understand child support, and if they do, they might have a negative impression. So it's important to not direct the messages and the content of the messages to too specific or assuming that there is familiarity with what the services are, and that in the future, messages that are informative about the unique services available to the community through Lac Courte Oreilles Child Support would be most effective, and that when new content is developed, to do a little check to make sure that it's not assuming too much prior knowledge from the people who will be receiving the messages. And as stated before, more information is needed about client perceptions of the portal to learn what the assets are from people that are utilizing it, why some people seem reluctant to enroll, and why, and what would be effective in actually reaching people who are unaware of its services. So that's what we have learned from the Lac Courte Oreilles Digital Marketing Project, and the organization is well positioned to move forward and continue to have a strong digital presence within its community.
So in conclusion, and wrapping up the digital marketing grant, Lac Courte Oreilles Child Support has assessed all of the information and data provided by the Center for Policy Research throughout the course of this grant. As a result of that, we have determined that, number one, we will keep our website in place from Intervention 1, so lcochildsupport.com. We will certainly continue to use that site and have that available and keep the site updated with all relevant content. The child support portal that we discussed, that is a very new system. It is less than 3 years old. So our plan is to continue to work with our project vendor who designed that system to implement further user-friendly options and thereby potentially increasing the number of active case participants using the portal. Our revamped Facebook page from Intervention 2, that will also stay. That has been very popular, and we have received a lot of responsiveness to our Facebook page. The Facebook ads also from Intervention number 2, we will continue to do Facebook ads. However, our plan going forward will be to do the ads in a much more targeted area. We did learn that we had a lot more impressions and responsiveness when the social media ads were much more targeted to a smaller geographical location. Finally, the fuel pump advertising that we rolled out in Intervention 3, we will also keep those in place. Based upon the tremendous positive community feedback that we received, along with the increased amount of new applications for services based solely upon advertisements that were published on the fuel pumps, we will continue to do fuel pump advertising on a quarterly basis with fresh, updated content. So overall, the digital marketing project was a huge success. We did learn what works better, some things that might not work. Overall, the project was a success, and we've learned new ways to communicate with our community.
And this concludes Lac Courte Oreilles Child Support's presentation on using digital marketing to increase participation in the child support program. On behalf of everyone at Lac Courte Oreilles Child Support, a thank you to OCSC for the opportunity to present this webinar. Thank you to all of our viewers. A special thank you to Ann Byrne and the Center for Policy Research for their phenomenal assistance through the duration of this project. And thank you again for the opportunity to present this information.